Sam, and I'm making this forecast for the new moon in Gemini on July 4th, 2016, early in the morning here in the United States. So the new moon is a time when sun and moon come together and they begin a cycle. And at this time, it's the cycle of Gemini. So it's a time when we're going to really be, concentrating on details, communication, speech, connecting those things with others, and connecting them in ways that are meaningful to us, and using our brain for a change and our discrimination to understand the world intellectually. We have a lot of we take in a lot of details through the senses. We take in a lot of data, and in this world we're very kind of overloaded with information age that we live in. But how do we exercise proper discrimination? How do we understand that data? How do we glean a proper understanding of all the stuff that we're taking in? So that's the big lesson of Gemini, is to sort of gain proper awareness and understanding of the things that we take in. It's ruled by Mercury, and it allows us not only to understand but then to speak and to communicate it to others. So it's like a 30-day cycle of that sort of life lesson. And it's going to be happening, double check here, it's in the Nakshatra of Ardra. And it's right at the end of Ardra, 18 degrees of Gemini. So Ardra is ruled by Lord Shiva in the fierce form of Rudra. So this form of Shiva is the one who is the destroyer, who transforms and destroys our sort of preconceptions about the way things are and about the way things are supposed to be and all of that, and takes things toward a higher, more virtuous outcome and truth. And so Lord Shiva, his energy is one of, I should say through the Nakshatra of Ardra, we see that quality of Shiva which is transforming and at times even destroying the existing paradigm, the way things were, the way things, maybe even the way we would like them to be, in a more stable, conventional sense. For instance, like religion, or things that we believe, or the cultural paradigm that we're used to, can get really destroyed and shaken up with this, when we approach this Ardra Nakshatra. So it could be a time of increased turmoil and transformation, as if we haven't had a lot already in the last several months. So this next 30 days could be a time of increased change and transformation around many issues. But often what happens is that we see our minds and our philosophies and our ideas change with the intersection of important cycles with Ardra Nakshatra. So we may look and notice that for the next 30 days, especially our philosophies and ideas could get very disrupted and reoriented and reorganized through some explosive potential for the next 30 days. And so, other things that we notice here during this new moon, we have Mars in Libra moving forward now. So Mars will be going back into Scorpio soon, and where it'll join Saturn. So a lot of that emphasis on Scorpio energy will be revisited. And, after Mars just backed up into Libra, where we have been reframing our relationships and our sense of compromise with others, that's been important for the last couple weeks since Mars went back into Libra, is going to go forward into Scorpio again and bring more of that sort of courage to maybe change things and to perhaps live with ourselves. Mars going back into Libra, we were maybe involved in a sort of power struggle with others a little bit. When he goes forward in Scorpio, maybe we're going to sort of close the door on a certain past or a certain type of relationship or relating. As he goes into Scorpio and joins Saturn, we'll maybe get back into our own sense of strength and purpose and emotional strength. We also have Rahu Jupiter in Leo, which is very tightly conjunct right now, and we saw that exact conjunction when we had that vote in England, that Brexit vote, which happened around the 23rd, 24th of June. And so that's right when Jupiter and Rahu were exact. Then shortly thereafter, a few days later, we had that terrorist attack in Turkey, and so a lot of these explosive events coincided with Jupiter-Rahu conjunction. So we're sort of living in the aftermath, the sort of ashes of that intensity, and then we have this new moon in Gemini, which could really sort of change things even more, sort of in the aftermath of these things. So let's look at those events and see how after July 4th and into the next week, how things change, because we're going to start getting some different messages. Maybe those messages will be that we can perhaps try to reverse this Brexit, or we're going to live with it and now we're going to work it out, now we're going to deal with it, and how the rhetoric changes in global politics as a result of that, and of the terrorism and things like that. So here in the US, we just had, for instance, I'm recording this on Saturday, July 2nd, Hillary Clinton was just interviewed by the FBI. Let's see what comes out of that. That could really change our political race here in the US. And as always, Donald Trump is doing all kinds of, controversial things with his whole party against him, and, everyone except those who are sort of drinking the Trump Kool-Aid are sort of against him. And so we'll see if that makes any shifts as well. It definitely could, with the news of Hillary Clinton getting interviewed by the FBI. That could be a big thing. It could change some news, or it could sort of close the chapter on that. Hard to say. We do have Mercury Sun and Venus also in Gemini right now, so this tends to tilt toward greater intelligence and greater wisdom coming in the next month because of Mercury being there. So Mercury being in Gemini, who is the ruler, and also Venus being there, which is about preserving, the harmony. And of course, Venus has often joined the new moon, so that's nothing new, but the fact that it's in Gemini, where Venus is in quite a friendly place, and it's with Mercury, who is a friend, and Mercury is there sort of protecting this new moon, I tend to think that there's going to be more of a sort of agreement and more of sort of holding things together. This last new moon cycle was quite turbulent, as I had said, and the last full moon was in Scorpio with with a lot of potential for difficulty and stress, and so we've certainly seen that the last couple weeks. So now I'll talk about how this affects all 12 of the zodiac signs, and I would encourage everyone to try my new member site. I've revamped the whole thing and redone it, and it's going to be something that you would really enjoy, and you can get the forecast for your sign as well, not just this general forecast, but as it relates to your sign, because again, these new moons and full moons influence each of the zodiac signs differently. If you're an Aries, it's going to be different than if you're Taurus, than if you're Capricorn, than if you're Pisces. They're all different. And, I have members who've been part of the site for years because they benefit so much from just hearing how this next cycle will influence them. So this is very crucial. This is how I use astrology every day and in my life as well, is I stay in tune with these cycles and make sure that my energy and my that my intention is aligned with these new moon and full moons. So you can try it only 50 cents for 14 days. Of course, you can cancel at any time and stay as long as you like, but I've added a lot of great new features like Facebook group and a knowledge base and extra extended forecasts. So go ahead and check that out.